Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And today I am continuing my rankings of all the Beatles songs. I've covered, I think, maybe 32 songs so far. Um, and this one I've kind of gone to a different category. The first category were Beatles songs I did not like and didn't think were bad Beatles songs in my opinion. So now I'm going to another tier, I guess you can call it, of Beatles songs I'm going to call the okay Beatles songs. They're not great Beatles songs, but they're not terrible. They're Beatles songs, I guess I would say that if they come on, if I'm listening to an album, I can listen to it. But there aren't songs if I'm making a Beatles playlist, I'm not putting these songs on my Beatles playlist. They didn't quite make the cut, in other words, because there's so many great Beatles songs I want to listen to, and these aren't them. Anyway, so they're the okay ones that I'm like, it's all right. Not something I care to listen to too many times. Anyway, so I'm going to cover 5 songs per video is what I'm going to try to do. So I'm going to cover number 181 to 177 on my list. So 181 is a song called Only a Northern Song. It is written by George Harrison. Um, this is a song that actually it comes on the Yellow Submarine album. Originally, he wrote it for the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Clubs Band album. But yeah, I guess the other, I don't know, it was George Martin or the other Beatles said, the song's not good enough to make the album. Of course, Sgt. Pepper's going to be considered like the greatest album of all time. So they were really wanting better, I guess, work from George. And of course, every album at this point has at least one George Harrison song. So I guess they told him, okay, go back and come up with a better song. And he ended up coming up with Within You or Without You. That makes it on the album. In my opinion, Only a Northern Song I think is a better song than Within You Without You. So I think it would have been better if they would have kept this song on. I'm not sure. It's not a great song, but it's not the worst song you could have, and even better than some of the other songs that are on that album, in my opinion. So don't know why they had to reject the song, but ends up on Yellow Submarine. Yellow Submarine's a strange album. It seems like there's only 4 original songs I believe on the album, so they all feel like they're very kind of obscure, kind of throwaway songs that nobody really talks about. And this is definitely one of the more obscure songs that you never hear about or don't hear a lot on the radio or at all the radio, or really discuss a lot about amongst George's work. And for me, this is not a song I listen to hardly ever, so it's not one I'm real familiar with. So I'm re-listening to it. When I'm re-listening to it, I kind of figured it'd probably go into my bad Beatles song list just because I was so unfamiliar with this song. But listening to it, it's not terrible. Melody's not terrible or anything. And I listened to it and I was like, yeah, I can listen to this again. So I upgraded to the okay. So I barely made it into the okay Beatles song category for me. Of course, Northern Song is the name of a publishing company that their songs, when they wrote songs, I guess they published it. And then the whole deal was John and Paul, of course, were the main songwriters, so they got 30% share of the credits of the money, while George and Ringo only got 1.6%. So quite a big gap in there between Lennon, McCartney, and then George and Ringo. So the song's kind of a satirical song about the fact that it doesn't matter what he writes, he's not going to get very much money. So the song's almost kind of meta in that way. And that's why I kind of like the lyrics a little bit on the song and how George is good at this kind of satirical language. It doesn't matter what I write, or it might be wrong or right. Who cares? It's only a Northern song. Like he's kind of mad at the fact that whatever he writes, he's not making enough money on it like the others. And he's good at this. George is good at and if you know George, he's kind of the more bitter of all the Beatles. After the Beatles, very bitter about his songs not being picked for albums, and complains a lot about his time with the Beatles. And he likes to complain about a lot of things. Of course, like I think in like Taxman's another song like this where he's complaining about being rich and having to pay a lot of taxes because of that, and kind of making fun of the tax man, making him look bad. So he's really good at this kind of stuff. And of course, George, he's really involved with the Monty Python. He put a lot of money in to make one of the movies, was it Life of Brian? He had to put a lot of money into that movie to make that movie happen. So he's really into satire, I think. So definitely fits his MO. Anyways, and so yeah, it's a decent song. I enjoy the lyrics. Anyway, so that's why I put it here at 181. At 180, I have Maxwell's Silver Hammer. Comes on the Abbey Roads album. Really written by Paul McCartney. It was really his idea. Uh, and this is a song that another song I thought would probably be my bad category, but listen to it. It's not terrible. Like the melody overall is not terrible. I kind of enjoy it. It's kind of a weird song about this guy named Maxwell who's killing people with a silver hammer. So it's like it kind of tells a story, but it's not really a story that needs to be told. And a lot of people put this towards the bottom of their list. This is definitely usually like people's least favorite song off the Abbey Roads album, which is usually everybody's favorite album. But listen to it. I guess I kind of appreciate it a little more than others. Um, yeah, like I said, Paul's overall vocals are decent. I like the background vocals, do 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 do, that John and George do in the background, and there's some catchiness to the chorus of Maxwell Silverhammer that I enjoy enough to put in this category. Not great, but just enough. And it's funny as I was doing research, kind of and doing a lot of these things, I find Paul later on, like during this time period, in the late Beatles period, in the late '60s, he loves to do like these old style songs. As I was reading, like they describe the song as kind of done in a vaudeville style of music. It definitely doesn't sound like the Beatles' normal type of song or music. Not a rock song like they normally would have, or even a ballad. It's a kind of in between song. But he likes to do this again because, like I talked about, Honey Pie, another song Paul did that definitely has this old time feel. And then I'll get to some other ones in this category in the near future of like when I'm 64 and fixing a hole. I don't know. He just has this like tries to go back. The Rocky Raccoon. I think he definitely loves it write in this old style of music. Anyways, and I think this kind of fits that for Paul. Anyway, so that's Maxwell's Silverhammer 180. At 179, I have A Taste of Honey. This one comes off of the Please Please Me album, the very first album. It's a cover song written by Bobby Scott and Rick Marlowe. It was originally just an instrumental song when it first was written. There was no lyrics to it. And then they wrote a Broadway play, and they wrote some lyrics for the song. And the Broadway play is the same name, Taste of Honey, evidently. I never heard or seen anything about this Broadway play. Anyway, so that's the original of it. And so it's kind of a strange song for the Beatles to cover. The Beatles usually cover, popular R&B, rock songs of the 50s. So this is definitely one that's kind of out of left field. But yet, yeah, overall, it kind of works for me. I mean, like I said, not great, but I think the overall melody is actually pretty good. And Paul's he sings the lead. And he's pretty good at the lead singing. And there's some harmonies in there that I enjoy. A Taste of Honey, that part, it's fairly enjoyable to me. Yeah, so it's not a bad song. I find a lot of people hate this song too. This is a song that's usually at the bottom. I think I like it maybe a little more. It's a funny thing about the Beatles. They, for some reason, aren't good at writing songs or playing songs with the word honey in it. As I said, this one's a cover song. Honey Don't's a cover song, which is towards the bottom of my list. Honey Pie and Wild Honey Pie are very, very bottom of my list of songs. So I don't know why honey is such not a good word for the Beatles for some reason. But yeah, so that's 179, A Taste of Honey. 178, I have Mr. Moonlight. This is another cover song written by Rory Lee Johnson. Performed originally by the Dr. Feelgood and the Interns. Pretty good name for a band. Never heard of them, but interesting name. It comes on the Beatles for Sale album. And it's kind of written in a Latin style. The percussion, anyways, has a Latin style to it. There's an organ solo, which is probably the worst part of the song, is that organ solo is not great, not very interesting. Rather a guitar solo or something rather than that, or a piano solo or anything. Anyways, it's definitely a different song for them. Obviously, of course, like I said, it's a cover song. Didn't really fit them, but yet John's vocals are really good. I actually quite enjoyed John's vocals on the song. It kind of lifts it up probably higher than it should be. especially that very first line. He does the Mr. Moonlight, like that part. I mean, incredible vocal. Shows John has, I think, the best power voice of the Beatles. Obviously, him and Paul both have the best voices in the Beatles. I think John has a little more power than Paul, and so he can sing these rock songs or even song like this. Not rock song maybe, but he can really put in these big notes and stuff like that Paul doesn't do quite as well. Though I think Paul's maybe a better vocal range than John overall. But yeah, so I don't know. A lot of people hate this song, I think, because of that beginning, and it's got a different style to it, like I said, a Latin style to it. So it's definitely towards the bottom of everybody's list. I actually kind of surprised myself when I listened to it and thought, it's actually kind of somewhat enjoyable at times. So I put it up here. Not great, but still not terrible, as other people think. Yeah, so 178 is Mr. Moonlight. Then 177, I have the infamous Run for Your Life, coming off of the Rubber Soul album, written by John Lennon. I believe, closes that album. It's a very controversial song now. I never really thought about it. It's controversial until recently. Of course, we have big Me Too movement, woke movements, and and so the song really looks bad now. Of course, Run for Your Life is a song about, basically just, if you cheat on me, I'm going to kill you, kind of, vibe to it. Now, is he really going to kill her? Maybe not. Maybe it's just a threat, because obviously if your girlfriend or wife cheats on you, you're going to be upset. So this is just kind of, saying, I'm going to be very upset, and goes to extremes of like, I'm going to kill you, so run for your life. So it's a very threatening song to the woman, and it does not come off well. I agree, and it's never been a favorite of mine, but I do agree as I listen to it, it does come off pretty bad. The very first line of the song, which I didn't remember exactly, but is I'd rather see you dead than be with another man. It's like the first line of the song. So I'm like, wow, coming off pretty strong there, John. It doesn't get any better. I'm not down on as much as some people, because people really, I think, hate the song because of that, and it's definitely towards the bottom of people's list nowadays. I think musically it's fine. John's vocals are fine, so that's why I don't have it in the bad category. I think there's enough enjoyment there that I can listen to the song. Just lyrically, it kind of hurts the song, obviously, very much. That's why I have it not very high. Have it in my okay, towards the bottom of my okay tier songs. But yeah, so that's Run for Your Life at number 177. So that's covering 5 songs there. And just tell me what you think. Am I being too harsh on these songs, or are these songs should be lower? I'd love to see your comments and what you think of all these 5 songs especially. And just thank you for watching the video and liking it. And just thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel, and I really appreciate you all. Have a nice day.